Now, I've saved the last thing, which is this guy, to my version history. And that means if I want to get, if I've done so many things, maybe I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, and I say, no, I don't like it. Or maybe I've even deleted this, and I'm currently at this stage, and I'm like, no, I think the one I did before was better. All I need to do is come back to my file and click on the show version history, right? And I can click on just a red box, right? And it's going to load me back just to my red box. So that's basically what you do when you do save to version history, right? So you see, I just since I cancelled it, I went back to what I was doing. So if you do designs on your version history, you can have access to the old things you did, even though you have deleted them, right? Uh, that's some things you need to also know. That you can export your designs. You can export images. You can export as a PDF, as an SVG, right? So if you want to export, select what you want to export. You can also click on the export from here, right? Or for the longer process, you can click here, come here, and then click on export, and then you can decide to export. Now, this one export as a PNG, one XPNG, right? The good thing about using the export on this part is you can decide to change the amount of pixels you are exporting as, right? You can say you want to export 2x. And basically what this means is you are exporting in 2x the quality of what you currently have. So if you are doing this, you want to export in 2 times quality, right? I think this is even a little bit more advanced class, but you might not need this whole information. And I'm talking too much. Wow. So basically, yeah, if you need to export, then you can also, if you're exporting from here, you can also do you can also change the format JPEG, you can change to SVG, you can change to PDF, right? And then you can click on export. And basically what it does, it saves it to your local file too. So that's basically what you do when you export. Then you can export frame to PDF. So when you create frames, but before that, I would we'll go back to that. We're not done. We're not done with frames. And then there are also other things. You can edit. You might need to go through all of these things at your own local time. Do we have a question? So can we use it? Okay. Definitely, we can use it as a graphic design tool. I used it as a presentation file for the presentation we did earlier, like the first presentation. Everything was designed on Figma. Yeah, so basically you can use it as a design tool. You want to say something? Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. Then you can also, there are some other things here. I think when we are going on, so we can get into a more practical class as fast as possible. So we'll touch some of these things. So then let me go into the main things here. Now, you also have this move tool. Basically, when you click on this, it allows you to move items from A to Z, from one point to another point, right? Okay, that's what the move tool does. And then if you click on the drop down, there's a scale tool. Now, this is a very important tool because sometimes when you're designing, you want it to maintain, you want to increase things. So, say for example, I have a frame, I click on this, right? And then I put in some text in my frame. I say, um, design next class 1, right? Now, this is it. It's now I want to increase the size of this my frame, right? When I click on the scale, what it does for me is it increases the size of the frame and also the size of the elements. So now if I increase it, you'll see that the size of this one too has increased. So let's go back to what it was before. So this guy is 12, and then when we're done, it changed to 19. Now, understand the fact that I did not increase the size of this one. what I increased was the size of this one. So, but what the scale tool does is it takes everything as one and increase it proportionately. So that way it makes you not have a distorted work, right? You do not have um, your work is not one is not bigger than the other. They both scale. They both become big at the same time, right? Yeah. So unlike this, so let me say this. Now, if you are on this page and you are not using the scale, so we are still on the scale, let's move back to the move. Now we can do the same thing and we increase this. Can you see that the size of this thing is bigger, but the size of the content inside is not even big at all, right? So that's what the scale tool do. Let's move on. That's one. Now there's this very important one, something that we definitely would use every time. Now this is called the frame, right? When you click on the frame, basically, when you click on the frame, there are two ways you can use the frame. You can use some of the preloaded frames like that Figma has given you. For example, your phone, for example, your tablet, for example, your desktop. And basically, the whole idea of what a frame is it is like
Okay, that food package tray. You know when somebody buys something for you, I don't like that. I don't like that. Not getting somebody. I lost connection. So what's the problem? Okay. Let me connect it. I think she buy him jeans now. It's jeans I want to get. I don't know.
a ground to build on, right? So like motherboard oil,
Let me just for you.
um,
Do they are
a processing board that any phone uses that is bigger than the size of the phone. It's like this underlying foundation make designs. So all the designs we need to do has to be inside our frame, right? So for example, if I'm about to design for a company and they want me to design a mobile app, right? I can use any of these mobile frames here. I can say, okay, this is an iPhone 13 frame. So my designs would be inside this iPhone 13 frame, basically. And then I can also select a presentation. For example, I want to create a slides, right? I can have a frame for that so that anytime I present my slide, it can fit directly to the screen of what I'm trying to project, right? So it's like the underlying foundation. And then we have other things that the frame does. We have the watch. So if I'm asked to design an Apple Watch, for example, or the interface of an Apple Watch, because Apple Watch has calculator, it has music, and all of those things. So some people design that too. So now we have a frame for that also. And then paper, A4 paper, A5 paper, A6 letter. And then if we need to post on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and the like, so we can all just explore some of these frames and use it in our own spare time and see how it works, basically. But then there's also a way to create your own frame. So maybe you don't want to use all of these templates that's currently here. All you need to do is drag your frame to any size you want. It can be as small, it can be very big, it can be as big as anything you want. So you have dragged your frame, so it's like a layer right into anything you're doing. Now, I want you to notice something about a frame. When you position an item, a frame looks almost the same as, so for every frame we have created right now, they look almost the same as a normal rectangle, which is this guy. Now, if I click on this guy and I do the same size, right, and I make the same color, now you might be looking at what's the difference between these two guys. Why do I even need a frame, basically? Now, the real truth about a frame, like I told you earlier, is the frame is um, like a foundation. It's where you build everything you are building on top, right? But then the triangle or the rectangle or the square or any shape, right, is just like a building block. It's like a block out of anything you are building. So now, I have two elements. Right? Let me have a circle. right? I change the color into something like a red color. Now, if I put this inside a frame, right? Let me take one out, and I put this inside a rectangle. You will notice that for the rectangle, the item went back because he saw it as a building block. He saw it that okay, this is the first one here, the next one is this one. Now that's one thing. The other thing about frame is frame does not expect you to build anything outside of it. Everything you are building should be inside of it. Now when I carry this thing out, you'll see that my frame is telling me that this your item is going out, but because it's inside a frame, it can't go out. You can't see it. But unlike the frame, the rectangle, anytime I take it out, it goes out directly because two of them are just building blocks. They're just like blocks. But for the frame, it expects that anything you are building, it's inside of it, right? So now it's saying, okay, you are still inside the frame, so you are not to the outside of it unless I take it outside. I take it outside completely, right? Unless that it has to be inside the frame. So now anything you are designing, if you are designing any mobile or web interface, everything should be in a frame. Basically, it should always be in a frame. That helps a lot so that you don't miss the content of what you're designing. Basically. All right. Do we have any questions? Let's take questions before we go on. Do we have any questions? Are we following at all? The space looks so very silent.
Sorry.
Yes, we are
Concerning the frame, we
Okay.
can have a frame inside a frame, right?
Definitely we can. Yeah.
Is there any significance to it, like creating a frame inside a frame? Like maybe some sort of importance attached to it?
Well, no extreme importance attached to it. The only thing I would say about creating a frame inside another frame is so think of it this way. In your house, right, you have the land, right? Then inside your house, you also have the bed. So the bed will definitely have a bed frame, right? Now the bed frame serves as where your bed needs to stay. So anything you are doing, the bed is not supposed to be outside of the bed frame, right? That looks very abnormal, right? So that's like the analogy I can give you for um, a frame being inside a frame. Do you understand? So that means there's a component inside my main component, like the whole component that still needs to be inside the frame. I don't know if that's something you get or you understand, but yeah, I think I
Yeah,
explained
I
it.
understand. It makes a lot of sense. So I have another question based on what you just said. Now we have a frame, we have a group. So which is
Okay.
more preferable? You know, when we group is also like trying to put everything together. So
Yeah.
so like how do we differentiate between a frame and a group in terms of their usage? Like based on that context. I don't know
Okay.
if my
Yeah.
question is clear.
It makes sense a lot. So I would just use an example for you. So you have a frame. Now, this is another frame. Let me make it small. Let me change color to this. Now, this is one frame. This is another frame. Now, like we already told you that in a frame, right? It doesn't want the item or the content to go outside of the frame. Now, but if you have a group would be just a bunch of collection of things, right? Which means you can have this and this in a group, but then you can just group it together. When you want the item to not to leave the screen, right? You most likely would use a frame. So let me do this. So now, unless this is what you want, a group works for you. So they both have their use case, right? But in a use case where you need to use a frame, basically what you need to do is you can use the frame inside another frame so that your work doesn't get clustered. Now, if I need to pick this guy, I want to pick this whole content, right? I can pick it as one, move it, because this content not to span outside of my frame. basically. But then, if you still need, if you think you need to use a group, both of them works actually. All you just need to do is understand that the content that you're putting inside your frame will differ from the content you're putting in, that you're trying to group together. I don't know if that's clear.
Yeah, it is clear. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other questions from anybody?
Yep. There were two tools at the top left corner you didn't mention, the pen and the hand tool. How do we?
Yeah, definitely. We're still going there. We're still going there. We're still on frames actually. We're still
Yeah,
going.
sorry, I have a question.
Right, thank
For
you.
the maybe I think I didn't get for the group. How do you group, please?
So to group, all you need to do. Sorry, I didn't show you guys that. But let me ungroup this. So you ungroup, and then you have two elements, right? All you need to do is click on the first element, click on the second one. You can right click, right? And then you can do group selection. Yeah. So now you can pick it as one. But the way I did it, because I didn't do this long journey, the way I did it was I ungrouped. I didn't ungroup actually, but get it. So I grouped, I copied both of them and I clicked on command and
All right, thank you.
G.
Yeah, thank you.
G. Yeah. So that's cool. Do you have any other question? Any other question before we go on? Are we following? Are we understanding the class? Please drop your feedback on the chat. It's really important. No questions. All right. That's nice. Yes. Okay. So that's some few things that you need to know about the frame, basically. Now, there's this guy called the slice. You might never need to do anything with the slice, but basically, what a slice is you want to divide content into two. Basically, you want to use the tool to divide a content into two. So, for example, you can create a slice like this. I think this size has been even changed yet. Oh yeah. Okay. So you you click on the content that you need to slice, like this one, and then you use the slice tool to slice between. I think this thing has been changed really. Let me see. I think it's now you now need to bring the content inside the slice. Let me see. Now they have changed this design, this slice function, really. This also, but basically, what you use the slice to do before is you use it to cut content into two, right? So you can differentiate between two contents. So, for example, if I need to differentiate between this guy and this guy, but believe me, you won't really need it. It's very, very minimal that you even go into the slice tool. Maybe when I learn more about it, I can share it as a tip in our maybe more advanced classes. Okay, so that's that. We go into the shapes. We've talked about the rectangle. So now there's a line. You can also draw lines, different sort of lines from Figma. You can decide to make it vertical or horizontal. You can decide to draw arrows. Then in your arrows, you can even customize. I think you can customize your arrow in some certain way. Yeah. So you can decide what kind of arrow it is. It's pointed nose arrow or it's a reversed triangle arrows and like so. That's that. And then there's ellipse. Ellipse is also the same as circle. So yeah, you can just draw circles and different things from circles and all of those things. You can draw a polygon. A polygon is also a triangle. Yeah, you can draw triangle shapes. Star. Yeah. You'll be needing this anytime you're doing ratings and the likes. And then, so there's this thing that we also need to focus on while we're drawing the shapes. You'll notice that there are some nodes here, right? There's some nodes here for the star. Basically, what this is you can use this to customize it into something even more, right? So you will notice that as the more I move this node, the more it changes, right? And for each node, there are two different things. So this one makes the corner radius more rounded, right? So it's two different things. Yeah. And then yeah, we have for this guy to you can change this. You can decide to increase the count of this one, right? So now it's not just a triangle. That's why it's called a polygon because it has many shapes. You can derive many shapes from it. Yeah. What else? What else? What else? Yeah. Then we talked about placing an image. Now there's the pen tool. The pen tool and the pencil tool are two different tools that are very important. First, let's clear all our shapes. The pen tool, you can use it to draw shapes, like somebody mentioned earlier. So let's look for something to draw. Let's say car. Okay, yeah. So let's come into our Figma page and just drop this here. Right. So now let's look at this image well. I'm trying to show you something very different from everything we know about Figma, because normally we all believe that Figma is just a digital tool, but then you can use Figma for illustrations too. You can use it to design or to draw illustrations for things like this, right? And basically, it's just a combination of shapes, rounded corners, and then the pen tool. So now let me use the pen tool to do things with this. So all we need to do is this. So Figma allows you to draw the shapes, and then you can go on to customize what it looks like after all.
So I use the pen tool to do this.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So then we
Is that
can.
a question? I cannot interrupt.
Okay, please go on.
Yeah, so yesterday I was trying to, use this pen tool, but then the dots, like the joints, it wasn't breaking. Like it was just going on and on. And do you get?
No, I don't get. Can you come back? Can you say that again?
Oh, better still, let me ask this way: how do you use the pen tool? After you've dragged, you right click to stop at a point, then proceed.
It's actually very simple. Let me delete this. You click on the pen tool, right? All you need to do is click on your first dot, move. Don't need to click on anything. You can move, just move around. And when you need to get to the second place, click on the next dot and click on the next point. I mean to say, click on the next point, click on the next point, click on the next point. So you're already creating what we call nodes. So these dots here are called nodes. And the good thing about it is you can edit it. You can customize how it looks, how the node works. So it's actually very simple. You click on the first thing, click on the next one. You don't need to keep moving it. So yeah, you can decide to keep moving it. So for example, let me do this. Now I want to do this curve. I can hold it down and then do a curve like this, right?
Oh, thank you. I just tried it. It works now. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
All right. So that's basically pen tool is used for. And then when you use the pen tool, like I said, we have things like this called a node. Now when you use the pen tool, it gives you a little bit of more options. Like you can bend. You have a bend option also. Basically, what it's used for is to make some shapes a little bit more rounded compared to what it was before. And then, so when you click on the bend, you can click on the node. Can you see that? You click on the node too, and it becomes rounded. It fits into what I want it to. right? And that's how you get started drawing illustrations and all using Figma. We are not diving deep into this today. Yeah. Then there's the pencil tool. Basically, this guy is really good for people that use the white contact uh, to draw, right? So you just need to get the pencil tool and then you move. So the difference between a pencil tool and a pen tool is that the pencil tool, it looks like you're drawing physically. Like if you are very good with your mouse, you can decide to draw the car using the pencil, and then it looks a little bit rasterized. But when you stop,
Sorry, please, can I ask something?
yeah,
Yeah. The pencil tool, is it the same as, I mean, the pen tool, is it the same as double tapping the object or this thing? Like when we double tap the object or the image.
that's a very good one. So let me go back now. While I was designing, you would notice I had my pen tool actually. I had my pen tool, and we still have this option here, right? So it means I can decide to do this bend before completing the whole design. So let me do this. So immediately I'm done this way, right? I'm done this way. I can decide to do my bend, right? Listen that. Listen that. Right. So basically, yeah, it is the same thing. But the only thing is, it gives you the flexibility of leaving the screen, and then when you click double tap on it, you can resume from what you had done. But now, the thing is, when you're already done and you click on the pen tool again, it doesn't start from the last place, right? It gives you another option to start from somewhere new. Do you understand? That's when you are done double clicking. When you double click on it, so you start from somewhere new entirely. Like you are continuing um, the item you are drawing. Do you understand? So when say for example you are not done, right? Let me go back. If for example you are not done and you are at this stage and you click OK, right? And you come back and you double click and then you continue like this. Oh, hold on. And you continue like this, right? You see, you have lost the design you have done at first. Now, so you have incomplete design at first. Do you get? I hope it's clearer now. Hello?
Yeah, it is clear. But I have a question concerning that. So there's no way we can break a shape, like when we are using a tool like Illustrator or CorelDRAW, you can actually like, do I call it like break? You know, there's a way you can just link it up and continue from where you stop. So there's no option for that in Figma.
You can. So basically, what you need to do is,
Yes.
let me show you. So basically, when you are currently designing, and this is the stage of which you are. So let's double click this guy. Now we are currently on this part, and we click on Control Z while on this guy. You see, it continues from the last place. It gives me that option, even though I double clicked. But then you have to click on Control Z. That says I want to go back to the point of where I was editing. Do you understand?
Okay, so assuming you've done some other designs ahead and you're trying to like edit it, there won't be that option anymore.
Well, I think there should be. So let me see. I've done this and I've done this. I've done this. Let me just try that out.
Double click.
Click. There's none.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. But that's a good one. I've never even had the use case before, so yeah. All right. Do we have any other question? Okay. Let's just go on. All right. I think some people are having bad network issues and all. All right. So that's about the pen tool. Now the very nice tool we can't do without is the text tool, because definitely for our project we need to add some text and all of those things. So our text tool, we just use it to write different things. I know we talked about typography the last time, right? So our text tool does help us do some things about typography. Can you see that because I'm inside a frame, I can't go past these things inside. Even my text is not expanding outside of my frame, right? Just to mention. So then there's also the grab. What's it called? Is it the grab or hand tool? Yeah. Basically, it is used to span around. Use it to span around your page. The most times when you need this use case is when you have a large design file, and then instead of you to be doing this on your Figma page or anything, you might just want to grab. You just want to grab to this part. You want to grab to this part, and it makes you move faster, right? Nothing so serious about the grab. So you might never use it to some of the tools that you might never use. Then we have the comments. We talked about this when we did what's it called, Figma. So the comments is dropping a comment for somebody. The good thing about comments is, so if we're on the both or on the same design file, right, I can comment you and say, hey, Abel, can you do this? Hey, can I change this? Hey. So you just use the ads and it generates a list of people that you have worked with before, and then you can send them a text. You can send them a comment, and it's going to send a mail to them telling them that this is your design. This is the feedback about your design and everything. So the comment is used to get feedback. It's also used to give feedback to people about what they need to do. So that's that. So that's the good thing about this part. Now, this part, there's a